Calder from InDe'B Quilt Shop. I have a really fun project I wanted to show you today. This quilt I have done several blocks for is called Posh Penelope by So Kind of Wonderful. Okay, and I know this is backwards because that's how this camera is working today, but this is the pattern, and this is what the finished quilt, someone's finished quilt, looks like. What I love about this quilt is that you're just using up scraps, okay? And I have chosen to group like colors like green all together or some yellows. There's an orange one right here that's really pretty too, teal colored, black, reds. And then you have this really fun block here in the middle that goes all together that's all different colors. And it's a really fun way to use up scraps. I took this class at a retreat, and the gal at the retreat, she says, you think we're going to make one of these blocks, but in 3 hours, we're only going to make 1/4 of the block. And boy, was she right. She gave some really great tips that I'd like to share with you too. And I think the teacher was Kim McAllister. She lives in, she has a quilt shop in Cedar City. So really fun. So for this quilt, you're going to need, this is how I've done this. Is gives you all of this, all of the whatevers. Now your backgrounds don't all have to match, but this is what you're going to need. Okay, so you have to cut all these pieces, and I like to lay them out with all the different pieces to make sure I like how the layout of the block is going to go. Okay, so I'm going to show you after you've got these all cut out. I'm going to show you how to trim some of these using the rulers. There are 2 different rulers that you need, okay? One is a, trying to hold this up so you can see behind. One is the So Simply Wonderful 6-inch squared ruler, okay? Now, I had another 6-inch squared ruler, or there's other squared inch rulers, you know, that I could probably work and make it use. But I decided to go ahead and get this because this was a little bit different. And I'm really glad that I did, because it has a few different, like this triangle right here, kind of, that you use in it. It also, it was just perfect. It didn't have a 6 and, you know, like I think another one I had was like I had a 6.5-inch squared ruler that was 6.5 inches all the way around. But you need an exactly 6-inch square. So I decided to go ahead and get this one. And you also need, if I can get it up here, the Quick Curve Ruler by So Simply Stitched. And we have both of these in our quilt shop, okay? And it has some important things. You can also see that I have different markings. You can see where my fingertips are at, both right here, on this, when you're using it for this particular pattern. The Quick Curve Ruler, they use it in all different kinds of patterns of theirs. And they have just some really unique ones. Now, sewing this curve is the simplest curve I have ever sewn. It's really simple and easy to do. So let me show you exactly how I do this, okay? So I'm gonna come down here so you can see my cutting board. Okay, I'm gonna take all of these. I'm gonna move these all to the side because I don't need these currently, and then that will help me to keep everything together and remember where they're going to go in my little center stitch. Okay, you also have these that you've cut out, and all the measurements, and also these are going to be used a little bit later. Okay, and then you have these stacks, and you have these stacks. Okay, and I'm just going to stack this right back up because I'm going to cut them all at the same time. I think this is one thing that does help you to do it quicker. And I like to get it all assembled and cut it all out and have a block all put together. You could probably even do several blocks all at the same time. This is like not wanting to be even on the ends here. I'm gonna have to line this up. But I do like to cut them all out at the same time because that's going to give me a okay. It's going to make the job easier because I can cut them all out at the same time. Okay, so you have 2 different stacks here, and I'm going to cut You got to make sure they're all lined up. It's really important that they're pretty much all lined up. So one of this is cut a little bit different, I think, but that's okay. In fact, I think I might even, I'll just leave it like that. Okay. Now, these are not have to be exact because you're going to be cutting them down too as you go. So what you want to do is on this ruler, you want to have, in this edge here, you want one edge along this side and the other edge to lined up right there. So you just have to make sure that both of them are lined up like this, okay? And we're going to take this and cut through all 4 of them at the same time, okay? From this one, you can take these and you can cut some more quarter squares. So I think I'll hang on to those and I'll do that later, okay? Now I'm going to flip it the other direction and do the same thing, but facing, because I need to have like mirror images of each other from one direction to the other, okay? And this one, it doesn't matter where on the curve you line up, because the curve is the same curve in all directions. You just want to have them the same. So I'm done with those. I'm going to set those aside. Now these ones, we're going to cut in 2 different directions. Okay. So up here, I'm going to come up with a pen, and it doesn't matter that I'm using a pen because you're going to see different. You're not going to see this. It gets cut down. That's what I mean. So that's okay if you just use a pen. So I'm going to use a pen. Now, these are both pieces are face up, okay? And do that. And then you're going to cut from here to here. And that's going to give you 4 pieces that are angled at the correct side. I was going to say, I could hear that not quite get through all those 2 layers. So when you're done, you have 4 that are angled this direction, and you have 4 that are angled this direction, okay? Now, to get the right cut, you need to make these markings on your ruler, just so that you can see this. So right here, it's going to tell you the measurement on there. This is 10 1/4 or whatever. There's a line there, a line on the 1/8 that comes up, and then a line here. And so you want to make these markings with a permanent marker so that you can see them. And we're going to do this side first, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use, nope, I'm going to flip that over. Nope, I'm not going to flip it over. I'm going to do this. It's a little angly challenge for me sometimes to see what I'm going to do. Okay. I'm going to use that one, but we're going to flip it to this side. Okay. I don't know if you can see as well. I'm going to move this over so you can see all of these purple lines along here and here that tell me that they're in the right direction. So the first one that you do when you get that all lined up, you want to put the markings on. And you are going to flip it one direction upside. You see how the words are upside down, and then you flip it the other direction and the words are right side up. And it will start like a certain amount from here and go all the way to that tip. Okay. And you want to get this one correct, because if you don't get it correct, you're going to have to recut this piece. Okay, and this is the piece that's going to go with those. Okay, so this one we're going to do, we're going to flip this over, and again we're going to line up all of those edges there. And again, this is not an absolute exact, because you're going to be cutting it down. So don't worry too much if you feel like you didn't get it exactly perfect. It needs to be close, but doesn't have to be exact. We're going to do that one more time because I feel like I didn't get all the way through those layers. Okay. So there is the cutting. pull them down so you can see that. So now you've got all the pieces that you need to do this. You've got these two. You've got these triangles that are going to be your side ones. These are the strips that go between. So you can see you're going to be doing quite a bit of cutting down because this is the size you need. And then you have all of these that are going to be the corners, okay? And I'll do another video that shows you how I sew that all together so you can see that. But I wanted you to see that's cutting. So now it's all cut. It's ready for me to sew everything all together. So there is, it's going to look like one of these blocks and be really, really fun. And I'll have another block that I can add to my quilt back here. And your quilt, what I love about this too is that when I go to make these, I will do like, you know, 3-4 blocks at one time. And then I just pack it up and put it away, okay, and move on to something else. It just takes some concentration and time to cut them out, to make sure it's all right to do that, and then when you start sewing and to do that. And sometimes you just need to have a break. So I wait until I get new scraps, and then I cut those down and get them ready and put them in separate bags so that I'm ready to cut this quilt. So that's the Posh Penelope part 1. And I will do part 2 where we're sewing it all together. Thanks again. Don't forget to like and subscribe on the video below. And we will be chatting with you later. And we also have a Facebook page. So we are going to announce things on the Facebook page. And we have a special announcement coming out on July 1st. So you want to get on that and be on our page and like it so that when we announce that, you will get the notification. And don't forget to turn your notifications to all on the Facebook page. Okay. Thanks so much. And if you haven't subscribed to our newsletter, please do so. And we will chat to you later. Have a great day.